licensed physical therapist, went to University of Wisconsin-Madison. Also have a PhD in physiology, sports physiology, specific for golf. I was the first director of golf fitness on the PGA Tour. I worked with Jack Nicklaus and Ray Floyd and Tom Watson, all the fellows that are now on the Champions Tour, and Freddie Couples, and then even Tiger Woods more recently. I've worked with him.
Really?
Yeah, and so, what I learned out on the PGA Tour, I was still a rather young therapist, but what I learned was something really important that we're going to talk about a little bit later, and it's a basic law, and it's just kind of like the law of gravity, okay? The law of gravity, you drop something, it's going to hit the ground. It's a law. You drop something every single time it goes down. It never changes, and that's called the law of structure governs function. Structure governs function. So we're going to get into some of these laws, but that law helping the tour players evaluate and change their body structure supported their function. The function of getting well if they had an injury or a pain problem, but also the function of optimal health and performance. Okay? And that then led me to looking more and more, instead of reactively, it helped me look more proactively. How can we prevent back problems, neck problems, shoulder problems, elbow problems? Those were the top injuries in golf. Well, now do what I do today, which is be more of a wellness and performance enhancement consultant for golfers, but I work with all athletes and all people. And so that's how I was, kind of my background. I was introduced to this, like I said, by my doctors, because I was a broken down athlete. I had all those injuries I just mentioned, low back, knees, ankles, played a lot of basketball. I had over 50 sprains and ruptures and fractures to ligaments and bones in my feet and ankles. And so by the time I was 40 years old, I was really gimping around. I really had a hard time standing and walking. And here I was supposed to be the physical therapist helping other people, and I could barely even get around myself. So my doctors were at their wits' end. They didn't know what else to do. They tried everything: injections, surgery, medications. I did all my physical therapy, magic tricks, that I could help other people, but I wasn't helping myself beyond temporary relief. And so they said, Paul, we've been introduced to something. Would you take a look? And that's how I started my journey. I took a look, and boy, am I happy that I did. So we're hoping that you're just as happy with your process of information gathering, awareness, elevation, to some things that can exist and do exist and can absolutely help. It's been, like I said, 18 years for me. These technologies keep improving and advancing, but the concept of these technologies has been around literally for thousands of years. But the understanding from a scientific standpoint and medical concept, if you will, even though these products and technologies are considered not treatment products, they're considered as wellness technologies. It's more about health and wellness and creating an environment for optimal health and wellness. That's really what. So that's how I started the process of learning, and I just took off from there. And it's been an absolutely exciting experience. My whole life, my family's life has totally changed. How I've helped people, not just a little bit from recovery and short-term benefits, but long-term benefits and enhancement, both in wellness and performance. So that's been really exciting. So I've already alluded to this, but our mission here today is to really help increase your awareness about total health and wellness through the sharing of cutting-edge information, cutting-edge technologies. We really want to establish your interest. Okay? If this interests you in any way, then all we're looking to do is to continue the process of information, build the relationship, and really to tell, not sell. Okay? We're not here to keep your pocketbooks in your out in the car even. We're not looking to try to at the end, bait and switch you and say, okay, now, lock the door. You're going to have to buy something. This is about only seeing a value, and when you see the value through that education and awareness, that you absolutely see the connection between this and feeling better, functioning better for you or someone you know. That's what we want to talk about, and then there would be an appropriate time, and you'll make that decision on your own that it's a valuable thing to invest in. Is that fair? That's because that's how it was presented to me. All right, so what is our most important commodity? What's the most important thing in our life? Well, other than time, which we can't control, I would say time is our most valuable commodity, but really it's our health. I mean, you can have, all the money in the world, you can have all kinds of things, that we would in our culture say are valuable, but without our health, a lot of those other things, become, very secondary. And so, to me, health and wellness is so valuable so that when we have time, the time we have available to us, we can really enjoy, the best optimal quality of life. To me, when I grew up in the traditional model of healthcare, it was very reactive. Okay, let's diagnose, let's figure out what the symptoms and name the problems, the diagnosis, and then let's try to fix those problems. It was very reactive. Okay, wellness and prevention and performance enhancement is about finding out and looking at things, knowing about how problems exist. Now look at the flip side of it, and how can we kind of nip that in the bud? How can we stay 1 or 2 or 3 or 10 steps ahead of problems? Okay, because if you have a problem, it always costs more to fix it, and the life quality instantly goes down, which is that most valuable commodity, life quality through wellness and health. But it costs so much, and so many of us have invested in our vehicle, in our house, and we spend way more and have a mindset of prevention and keeping things maintained on things we invest finances, money into, than we actually do our own physical body. Culturally, it's starting to shift, and we're putting more focus on wellness and prevention and taking proactive care of our health. And so what I loved when I learned about this particular company and their technologies, that they have a foundational belief system, a philosophy of balance of family, society, finances, body, and mind. Mind, body, family, society, and finances, all around a spiritual foundation. But they believe that we should be having a foundation of faith. That's what helps us make our decisions, in life, what's right, what's wrong. And then there's these pillars of mind and body and family and society and finances that hold up the ceiling, if you will, of wellness. The physical body, I was really challenged. I was really hurting there. I needed help in that pillar, and my family was, my whole life. That's what I was really working so hard to create, opportunities, for my family. And so those two things, relatively, even though they're all important and should be in balance, those two are the most important relatively to me. And then when you look at, just take out the physical pillar, like how are we going to help this physical body of ours, okay? Then instead of just focusing on, for me, where I had tendinitis and fractures and arthritic changes to my joints, instead of just focusing on those named diagnoses and the symptoms and dysfunction that stems from that, again, look deeper to what is really going to be the root causes, the elements that when energy and focus is put to those foundational elements, the outcome is going to be wellness. The cause and effect relationship will be improved symptoms because the foundational ingredients are being fed. I must have had deficits in those areas, any one or more of these areas: air, sleep, water, nutrition, fitness. Something was out of balance in all of those key areas in my environment, my energy environment, and so that the quality and quantity was compromised in any or all of those things, and that's why my body was starting to break down. The reality is that we're breaking down because our body's not getting fully what it needs to recover. Relative to the demand, we're not recovering. And that's what we need to focus on. How can we recover from the stress? Don't stop doing the activities. You have to when things are really bad, but don't look at, to get well, I just have to quit playing golf. That'd be a hard thing if you love golf, it'd be a hard thing to imagine. And then if you do quit, the quality of life instantly goes down, okay? So how can we optimize function, quality of life, not have the symptoms, not have the continual breakdown of our body? We have to supply ourselves with these key things in our environment. All right, so when you look at kind of the cost of sick care, okay, the cost of sickness, the reactive philosophy instead of proactive, it's an unbelievable demand on our society and our culture. And unfortunately, even though we're #1 in the world in treating conditions, diagnosing and treating, I wouldn't want to, if I had a heart attack today, God forbid, I wouldn't want to be anywhere else in the world than here, okay, in terms of diagnosis, proper rapid treatment, to keep me alive. But unfortunately, we're very low on the list on proactive care and keeping healthy and well. We're about 46th in the world in total world health, okay? About 75% of us are half healthy, okay? Half healthy, meaning we have different challenges already. We've had some surgeries, we're maybe taking some medicines for different things. We've had physical therapy, we've got some aches and pains, some creaks and crackles in our body. 5% are really chronically ill and sick. They're in hospitals, nursing homes, things like that. Only about 20% on average are totally healthy and well, meaning they don't really have any known symptoms. They're functioning at their highest level. Heart attack, cancer, and stroke are the 3 major causes of non-traumatic death in the U.S. Okay, car accidents and other trauma type things is right off the bat. In terms of our health and wellness, not caused by trauma, these 3 things lead, and they're all stress related. Does anyone know what the 4th leading cause of non-traumatic death is in the United States? 250,000 people die every year in the United States taking and following their doctor's orders through the prescription medication complications that occur. But understand what's driving our culture, at least in the United States, is economics. We get intellectually that we should be well, but the thing that really drives, that's on TV and magazines and everywhere else, is medicine, medicine. Now, the pharmaceutical salespeople, by law, cannot go to the same frequency into doctors' offices. They used to just park themselves every day, all day. Ding, ding, ding. They can't do that, but you will look at a commercial about at nighttime, especially when people are hurting more, okay, or daytime television when people are at home watching TV. What are they telling us now? Go ask your doctor about this medicine. Ask your doctor, is this good for you? That kind of thing. So now they have to go, and the doctor has to be informed because the patient is coming and asking about it. It's an unbelievable thing that goes on, and it's all about business and economics, not about really saving lives or making people well. Why would they? $1.2 trillion cost to our society every year. So what's the solution? What's the best solution? Prevention, taking personal responsibility for our health. I'm absolutely passionate about this, and fortunately, because of little presentations like this, and also some investment in terms of various wellness associations around the world, people are starting to want to hear about and know about and read about and become aware that we can do something ourselves to be well and stay really know this. Because what I studied was that nutrition and fitness were kind of where it was all at. That's what you read about. Yeah, I've got to eat better. I've got to, exercise. Absolutely true. These are essential elements. But what I learned was, on a relative scale, air, quality and quantity of air, is the relatively most important thing to us. Because if we, again, God forbid, filled this room with some kind of poisonous gas and removed the air, we would die the quickest. It would kill us the quickest without any air. Okay. Second thing is sleep, quality and quantity sleep. Environment is very important in terms of just like the pressure on your body, but also the temperature of your body. Okay, a lot of people are tossing and turning because the temperature build up. The temporal peak will wake you up just as much as pressure issues and make you toss and turn. As soon as you start moving, for whatever reason, sound, heat build up, moisture build up, because also it doesn't dissipate moisture, doesn't pull it away from your body, allow that heat to cool. That's another issue with sleep. And sound, of course, as I mentioned. So all of those things will make you toss and turn. It'll wake you up out of deep REM sleep, deep delta sleep. And so your quality of sleep, the number of cycles of deep delta sleep are interrupted and you don't feel completely rested. Okay? That was an issue I didn't even know I had, because I thought sleep problems meant that you couldn't fall asleep. I could fall asleep, but I woke up and I didn't feel rested, and I used to absolutely have the most terrible time driving from even Appleton, Wisconsin, where I grew up, and then I live in Chicago, but driving, and from Madison, when I went to Madison, up here to Door County, I couldn't take a drive more than 20, 30 minutes. I was falling asleep in the car all the time. One day in Indianapolis, where my first job was, 10, 15-minute drive, I drove off the road. I fell asleep after work at 4 o'clock, 4:30 in the afternoon, went right down into the ditch, crashed through a sign, and fortunately I wasn't injured, but what is wrong with me? You know, I was 23 years old, 26 years old. What is wrong? You know, I thought sleep problems were, you know, for other people. And so I had that issue, and I didn't know. I was never diagnosed until I learned about what quality and quantity sleep was through this technology that is amazing. It's the third most important thing. You know, if you're dehydrated, okay, if you're dehydrated, most of us are about 2% chronically dehydrated. You need to drink half your body weight in quality ounces, okay, of water each and every day. Half your body weight in ounces. So I weigh 250 pounds, 125 ounces of water every single day is my target goal for optimal health and prevention. But not just quantity, quality. Closer look, right? A lot of people, the gears start turning. It did for me. Okay, I get it. I get the concept. That makes total sense. All right, how does this stuff work? How does this technology, what makes it special? And it's all based on absolute proven physical laws, just like the law of gravity. God made, and these laws are God made. He made the universe, He made these laws. You follow these laws, and things work out okay. You disobey a law, you know, you go speeding and do some issues like that, there's going to be some consequences if you're caught. Whether we get caught or not at disobeying God's physical laws, there's always consequences. You obey the law, there's consequences, meaning there's good outcomes. Okay? There's a cause and effect. That's one of the laws. Okay, so Albert Einstein, genius, helped us figure out that energy equals mass times the speed of light squared. Matter and energy. When you speed up mass, speed up the molecules. Tom, is this solid? That table? Relatively, based on our observation through our 5 senses, we all agree that that's a solid table. Is it as solid as diamond? It's relatively less solid. Is it more solid than these molecules that I'm going to pass across your face there, the air molecules? Yes. Is it more solid than these molecules? Yes, it is. Okay. But all of those things, the table, diamond, water, what happens if we slow down the molecules, slow down the speed, take energy away from water? What does it become? Ice. It becomes a solid, relative solid. Okay. But if you speed up the molecules of water, what happens? It starts to get hot, starts to boil, turns into gas or vapor. So that's what this little progression shows, is that the state of matter changes as you add or subtract energy. You add more speed, you decrease speed, it's going to ultimately change its structure. As soon as it changes its structure, the function changes. Does liquid water have a different function than ice water? Does steam have a different function than liquid or solid water? Absolutely. We can do different things with it. Okay, so does that make sense? All right, this is answering from a physics, pure physics concept, how the technologies work. Because everything in nature that operates by these laws works in this way. It's completely natural to everything as to how things work. The lights go on based on a certain type of energy going to that particular structure called light, and that's what turns the light on. If we take away that energy or alter it in any way, the light will not go on. Our body operates the same way. It needs a certain type of energy. And when we get those types of energy sufficiently surrounding and inside our body, down to the cellular and molecular and atomic level, because matter and energy are the same thing. It changes our structure. Our structure, one of the functions of our structure at a cell level is to repair itself. It's to be strong, it's to be flexible, it's to be balanced. It's to metabolize and produce chemical energy. It's to get rid of waste products. It's to play golf. It's to run. It's to bend and lift and bake pies and all the things that we do in life. And eat pies and digest pies. Okay? All of those things are very, very important. It's part of the functionality of our amazingly designed body. But if down to the smallest particle we're not getting the right energies, then things start to go wrong. The light doesn't go on, or it's not as bright. Our cells don't work. We can't bend and we can't twist and we can't go up and down stairs. We can't do all those things. We need the energy, just sometimes, all the time, continuously. Because if we're operating, even sleeping at night where we get our biggest recovery, if we're functioning to even recover at night when we're sleeping, seemingly doing nothing, we still need energy input moment to moment. And if we're not getting that to the optimal level, we start to go down in our function. The quality of our life starts to change. Is vibration, okay? Tesla talked about if you want to find the secrets of the universe, think in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration. Everything is energy, everything vibrates. That's how it works. Law of cause and effect. Okay? Each and every action has an equal and opposite reaction. Biblically, it's talking about sowing and reaping. If you want to reap, you've got to sow. Okay? It's cause and effect. You want this, you got to do this. It's a law. Every structure governs function. This structure doesn't fly. This one doesn't float too long. Take one wing off, it's not going to fly. Change the structure, it's not going to fly. Bicycle does what it does. A cell does what it does. The molecule molecules that make up that cell does what it does based on its structure. The atom, based on its structure, supports that, supports that, supports that. It's a continuous flow from smallest to biggest. Everything up. In terms of natural energy, the Earth is a magnetic field. Hopefully we all knew that. Okay? And I'm not talking about gravity now, I'm talking about magnetism. The Earth is a magnetic field. There's a north and discovered that the astronauts, John Glenn and all those early astronauts discovered that when they splashed down, even after a couple laps around the planet, what was their experience? Remember?
They were weak.
Why did it take a whole crew to come and pull them out of that? Versus today, when the space shuttle or any of those and then space station, how long can they be up in space now?
Long time.
What, weeks, months, year? I mean, they get assignments for a year. Someone just went up there for a year. Science are up there, right? Safely up there. Then they can be there all they want now. But in the early days, a couple of laps, and they would land, and they had to be pulled physically out. They couldn't stand, walk. They were disoriented, nauseous. They were dying within a little short period of time, and they thought the first theory was it was lack of gravity. But there must be a gravitational relationship to the body and keeping it functioning and well. It had nothing to do with that. They conditioned them, created gravity-free chambers, they floated them around, trained the next astronaut, same thing happened. After 2 left, because they tried to increase the time. Okay, got sick and had problems even worse. What's going on? Finally, a German scientist, Schumann, discovered that the Earth pulses a magnetic field at 7.83 cycles per second. Fortunately, he discovered that. And now it's called the Schumann pulsed magnetic field generator. They're put into each and every spacecraft, and how well do we do? You connect our body to an essential not just beneficial, essential energy. If we all separated ourselves even a little from the Earth's magnetic field, we start to better start understanding what can provide us with these essential energies up close and personal, not far away or blocked or shielded by things that we create in our environment, like concrete, like steel, like wiring inside this building. It is diminished. The energy in here is different than the energy out there. Why do we like to go to Door County versus Chicago? And we're out in nature and on the golf course. We feel, yeah, it's a beautiful place. We can play golf, but we can, we smell things differently. We feel the ground differently. We get healthier when we're closer to nature in those ways. Okay, so the next energy is the sun. Okay, we need the sun, not just for temperature, okay, but the type of energy, temperature, and pH control, balance of acid base in our body, is from what's called far infrared. It's just a particular wavelength in the electromagnetic spectrum. Okay. Senses in our body, all the 5 senses that pick up different types of frequencies, because everything's energy. We hear with certain frequencies in our ear. Our ears don't see. Our ears are not tuned, like a TV tunes to a certain channels, to sound waves. Our eyes are programmed to only pick up certain light colors and visible light. Okay? Our skin picks up different vibrations. Our taste picks up different vibrations. We call them taste and sound and sight and that kind of thing. But in reality, it's just vibrational frequencies on what's called the electromagnetic spectrum. Our infrared comes specifically from the sun. And it's absolutely, just as much as magnetism, essential to our life. All living things require far infrared light and temperature balancing because it controls acid-base balance. But pH we know less about. That acid-base balance is vital inside our body. We go too high or too low, things shut down. We will die. So keeping this balanced is vital to our health and wellness, and knowing about it. The NASA again had technologies. They wove the inner lining of the spacesuit with a very special type of ceramic material. Ceramics have the ability, the function based on how that's structured, to absorb all wavelengths of energy and reflect it out, or back to the person, as far infrared, so they could be worn even when they did a spacewalk outside. They could be worn. As they came back through the atmosphere, even in the early days, the whole butt end of the space nose cone was covered with ceramics. And that ceramic is a heat shield because it deflected the heat as it was coming through the atmosphere so it wouldn't burn, they wouldn't burn up. When the space shuttle was invented, the total covering, but mostly thicker on the bottom, because that's how they come in through the atmosphere, was covered with ceramic tiles. And if those tiles break off or are damaged, they are very concerned, because that could mean the life of the astronauts. Third energy is from air energy, specifically called negative ions. Okay? Negative ions. They're in waterfalls and streams and oceans and forests, and actually just in the air. Okay? That comes through, like a lightning storm, people often, they say, oh, that's an old wives' tale, that your joints, you can feel it in your body. No, 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 no. You totally can feel it, okay? Because of positive ions lead the storm. Negative ions are on the opposite end of the storm as it passes through, in terms of higher concentrations. So wherever there's something heavily positive, equal and opposite will be something very negative. The opposites attract and they travel together. And so, but on the front end of the storm, positive, that's very stressful to our body. Acids and positive ions, you might as well say the same thing. Negative ions neutralize, they balance the positive ions and neutralize our pH and keep us healthy. Keeps that environment for all the activities in our body to work. This work is really, for me, model-wise. You know, I was okay in chemistry, I was better in physics, but I was really good in music. Okay, and so listening to things in tune. I played trombone, I played the piano, and so having that in tune. We'd spend a good portion of our morning before we even started playing, getting every instrument in tune. And it was all based on vibration. Hearing that tuning fork, hearing that sound wave, energy wave coming through to my ear, and then adjusting that trombone ever so slightly. My brother Dave plays guitar. He's tuning the guitar continuously. Even the stress of just strumming the guitar creates the guitar to get out of tune. You have to constantly retune it. We have normal stress, just walking down the street, sleeping at night. Everything we do, you do more, play golf, run, do exercise, lift weights, yoga. All of that is stress to the body. We need it, it's how our body's going to build. But we need to recover from that stress. And when we don't, just stress, 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 it will break, it will diminish, it will have a challenge. And we don't pick that up, and our intention is, I got to keep going, I got to keep working, I got to keep, running to the finish line in life. Right? That's our mentality. Work hard, play hard, but we also need to recover well. And when we do, we stay in balance. If we don't, there's problems. We need the earth, air, and sun in our environment to vibrate at a very particular frequency so that our body, which was designed and created to absolutely thrive in that environment, not some altered environment that we've created in our culture, in our society, but the original environment we did really, really well. Now what have we done? We have created out-of-tune environment. Dissonance, not resonance, not harmonics, dissonance. Okay? We have cell phones. That used to be, warning, Surgeon General. Guess what's coming? Warning, Surgeon General. Okay? Do you know what? My cell phone, oh good, don't have it right near you because it's one last thing. But it doesn't matter. We are, whether we go outside and play golf or in this building, or there's more stuff in this building, but we're out there. Now there's wireless signals, there's cell phone towers going everywhere. We are completely, imagine being completely bathed, like jumping into the lake. You're underwater, you're completely surrounded by water. We're completely surrounded, not just by air, but by electromagnetic pollution. And it's getting more and more and more stressful. Okay, so what's our strategy? Okay, well, to me, we have to create this perfect environment because it's the easiest thing to do. It's so easy and simple. Once you understand these, you have a vested interest in wellness, your awareness grows. It's just now a matter of how do you start building a protected home or office or auto or actually on your body when you're in between all those places, golfing or whatever, at work, whatever we're doing. Japanese Health Research Institute. You can see up here, Nihon Kenko Zushin Kenkukai. That stands for Japanese Health Research Institute. They're the global leader in total health and wellness technology distribution. They don't manufacture a thing. They technology hunt around the entire world, and they find the best proven, tested technology already that exists, and then they get exclusive distribution agreements with these manufacturers all over the world, and they distribute exclusively these technologies. So nowhere else can you get the same exact thing. There's others. All these simple to use areas. Air, there's the air system right there, so we're breathing clean, and added to it ionized air with negative ions without ozone. The water technology, Pastor Carol's back there, with the water. I don't know if some of you are drinking that, but it's called High Mag water, and it's the healthiest cleanest, wonderful tasting, energized, mineral added back to it, oxygen, pH balanced, all the things that we need has been added back to the water after amazingly cleaned. Our kids in college have a wellness room, so they have the sleep system, the air system, the water, take the supplements, use these different products every single day, and it helps performance as well. This brand new technology I'm really excited about. It's called the NIKKEN duct tape, not duct tape like the hardware store, but DUC stands for Dynamic Underlayer Kinetic Tape. Does anyone? All the athletes that wear different tapes all over their body, you know, different colored tape, and like. Have you heard what that is, or why are they doing that? Okay, well, instead of having to slip on as nice as these wraps and braces and things were, they were still limiting. They move, they slip. You know, you have to constantly be pulling them up and readjusting. You know, it's not a one-size-fit-all type of thing. Whereas, and you can't put it everywhere. You can just put it over circular areas. Okay, and so this tape now. Very light, it's the layer of skin, thickness area of skin. This is supporting the area. It also kind of lifts the skin away, you know, underneath the layers where there's often congestion, so there's better, you know, energy flow, better circulation, better lymphatic flow. And with all of that, when there's decongestion of that pressure and stress buildup, the body starts to feel better, sometimes very, very quickly. What NIKKEN did, okay, what they just discovered, was that there was a company that took Kinesio Tape, because it's available now, you know, to everybody, and they put two energies in there, the sun energy and the air energy. So there's far infrared from the sun, alkalizing, okay, temperature balancing, ceramic fibers. You have ceramics, remember, have the ability to absorb all wavelengths of light and energy and convert it to like the sun energy, the beneficial energy, far infrared. So when you put this on the body, it will warm you if it needs to be warmed. It'll cool you if something's really hot and inflamed, like an acute injury. Chronic injuries, things that you've had for a long time, they have acute moments, but usually the temperature is low, it's cold when something's really chronic. Something is more than the rest of the body. Something that's really inflamed is more hot, and often it has a redness to it or swelling. And so we don't want to put something hot on something inflamed. So if you put ceramics on there, you totally can bring down heat or elevate heat depending on what you need. Okay? And then also has negative ions, air ions built right into here, so that also helps pH balancing and inflammation control, bringing those acids away from the body. So amazing technology, very excited about it. My son Matthew, instead of those braces, just the other day put his Kinesio NIKKEN duct tape on, and he said, he texted me, "Dad, 30% better overnight." It's like amazing. My mom, 90 years old next month, I put some along her back and around both knees that are a little arthritic. She takes no medications of any kind, and you know, you should see her go. Okay, I mean, she bends and twists. She goes, "I don't know if this is all in my head, but I'm feeling better." She does, you know. So it's a lot of fun. It's so simple and safe to use. I mean, if it weren't safe, why would therapists already and doctors already be putting it right on the tummy of a pregnant lady, okay, for support and energy rebalancing? There's little kids using it and even chewing on some as kids do. It's very non-toxic, okay? You can see what Kinesio Tape does putting it on a bruise, okay? If it didn't do anything, they take little strips and you take this and you cut it any which way you want, little strip. And when you spread those strips out, look at where the Kinesio Tape was. So if it weren't doing anything, why would that show up where that bruise went away, right only where the tape was? So pretty cool. All right, so again, my history when I first started was doctors came to me and said, "Hey, we don't know how this works. Would you be willing to put these in your shoes?" There's some kind of energy. I think they said it was like magnetic, and you know, and I go, "What?" You know, but my feet and ankles hurt. I used to fall down at least 2 or 3 times in a golf round anytime I hit any uneven surface because my ligaments were gone. So I had nothing to hold me up, and I hit a little divot, coming out of a bunker, whatever, right down. Not that I had, 250 pounds, 6'8" person going down to the ground a couple of times. A golf round is a little unnerving. All my golfing buddies just got used to it, I guess. Oh, there's Paul falling again. But it's been 18 years. I haven't fallen once in 18 years. Guess what else? Besides never falling asleep driving, having ankles and feet that feel so much better. Guess what else has not happened in 18 years? I have not had any sickness, no colds, no flus, no sick doctor visits, no prescription medication for 18 years. I'm 58. I was 40 when I learned about this. What's going on? Is it that I just placebo myself? And my son Adam? And my wife? And all my kids? And thousands of patients? I don't think so. Could the company, 5A1 Dun & Bradstreet Company, exist with over 40 million customers if something didn't work? Can't do it. Okay? So, especially in this very, not just skeptical, cynical environment where we're told and sold, and just for the almighty buck all the time. I'm not saying that this is the only thing. Don't stop seeing your doctor. Don't stop getting diagnoses. Don't stop listening to what your doctor says. But I'm saying short term that we shouldn't be on some medicine. I mean, again, God forbid I have a heart attack today. I want the medicine. I want to, if I have a stroke or something, I want to stay alive. But then let's have a plan that I can start, if possible, working off of those things, because they all have a long list of not side effects, bad effects. Okay? I hate that word side effects. It's bad. Okay. I would like to help demonstrate how quickly this can work. Protect your back, but I'm testing your strength. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. Don't let me push down. Okay. You feel how much force it took before you gave out. Okay. So now I just want you to stand on this. Okay. And put one foot behind, just like you did before, just to protect your back. Okay. Eye level. Okay. Now don't let me push down, just like before. 1, 2, 3. And what do you notice about your ability to resist?
Yeah.
Did you feel more ability to handle the pressure of my forces down?
Seem to.
All right, now put your legs back to neutral, just so that they're
Sure.
just like that. They're a little wider so that it feels comfortable for you. Okay, all right, now put your arms out again. Now don't let me push down. 1, 2, 3. All right. Is there less pressure in your back that time?
Yeah.
Good. So even standing the other way didn't hurt as much, okay? And you felt a little bit stronger. Good, then step off the insoles again. And put your arms out again, one more time. You're gonna take the energy away again. Okay, and don't let me push down. 1, 2, 3. And what do you notice about your ability to resist now?
Probably a little less.
Well, yeah, did that hurt on your back?
At least I thought it was going to.
Okay, your arms gave way.
Right.
And I didn't have to push very hard, right? So how long did it take for the right kind of energy to your body to react to the right kind of energies for the function of improved strength and also the experience of less than seconds?
Yeah.
Just like if we went over and flicked the light switch, how long before the light went on and off? Seconds, because energy travels very quickly. All right, thank you, sir. Nice to meet you. Okay. Nice to meet you. Okay. If there's anything